clear to play. MiniWarGaming Speed the Cooler Bat Rap.
So here we are with the Black Templars turn 2, and they saw the swarm. It's everything on the table is everything that's going to be there, except for those 2 Trigon Primes that are hanging out in reserve. But essentially the big thing is that he's no longer going to have to deal with more gaunts spawning. So now he's rolling off to start getting moving his other Terminators back out of the way. And basically he just wants to move from the front line because he knows that I'm going to be heading straight at him, and then he's trying to cover as much ground as he can because he knows the Trigons are coming in and that they'll auto-correct. So he moves his other tank back, just getting a little bit of distance away from the gaunts that were eating it up because he doesn't want them to get free strikes on it. Not that they'd be able to hurt it now because they no longer have Furious Charge, but still the right idea to try and get out of the way. And then we rolled off for what kind of objective this is, and it turns out that it's the one that lets him re-roll ones to hit with shooting. So he's moving a few of his Space Marines back, just not the guys from the rocket teams, just so that he can have somebody from each unit sitting on each one, so that the other guys in the unit can at least benefit from the bonus. But that unit only moves Snake Eyes, so they don't, or one rather, not even Snake Eyes. So they don't end up moving forward, and in the back here, he's spreading out the rear unit with the Emperor's Champion. Like I said, just trying to cover as much ground as he can, because he does not want my Trigons getting in behind his armor, because they'll just easily blow it up with their 12 strength 5 or 6 shots. I think it's strength 6. Anyway, so he moves his other Terminators around. These ones, they just kind of shimmy back a little bit, trying to not be as close as they were. And then we go into the shooting phase. So he starts dropping that pie plate down on my Termagants, and they're not hiding behind walls anymore, so these are going to scatter. And I do get a few saves for these guys because they do have the rock between them, but it's unfortunate one of them dies. And these ones, they all go down, I believe. Yeah, just like that, they all get killed because he had to roll to wound them, of course. And now he's rolling the other shots, his little Stormbolter, which kills another one. Now he's firing a second pie plate. Now this is actually in the second unit in the back there, so he changed his mind and shot the front unit just because of cover saves and stuff like that. So he fires away with that pie plate and does scatter quite a bit further back into the rear units and of the Trigon that's sitting back there, or the Tervagon, not the Trigon. And so he does a whole bunch of wounds, wounding on 2s because it's of course strength 10, but they do get cover saves for the guys in front of them, and they fail of only 1. And then he shoots the Trigon, who's not getting any kind of save, but he fails to wound. He fires his Stormbolter into the front unit there, 2 hits and 2 wounds, and 2 of them die, and that's that. And then he fires another large blast right onto that same unit, and this one, it also scatters, but not quite as much, so it still hits a whole bunch of guns. I turned the ones in the back around so that we can tell them apart at this point, because it started to get annoying which unit's which, because I was trying to like mix them up, the red ones and the blue ones and the red ones and the blue ones, so that we could tell who's in what unit. But we made too many units too quickly and ran out of which colors of each, so it ended up being just a giant swarm of both colors. Now he starts firing tons of cracked missiles into the Tervagon, because if it dies, it's going to go crazy and hit everybody around it. And he does actually take it down. Strength 8 AP 3 eats up Tervagon. So he hits 3d6 strength 3 hits on all of the Gaunt units nearby. Does a whole bunch of hits, does a whole bunch of wounds. Kills 4, 5 of them. And then the front unit there, they take another 10 hits, which wounds 4, and they fail every save. So 4 of them go down as well. And that's about it for that one. Then he fires more rockets at the other Tervagon. They miss a few and then fail to wound. And now he fires other missiles at them, and he makes his one save from being behind the wall. Now he's shooting more rockets from the other land speeder at it and fails to do any hits. Now he starts shooting rockets at the Gaunts that are right near his front line there, because he doesn't want them to get into combat, because they'll just sit there and tie him up with Fearless. And so he wants to kill them all. So he's shooting away, and I'm making cover saves, because they are between the tank. You may not be able to tell on the camera, but the tank and that is kind of blocking where you can see them. That hill's not as tall as it looks, but these Gaunts are not in cover. And so he fires a frag missile at it, which scatters away off and misses. So he gets his 2 little bolt gun shots, which he does hit with 1 and does do a wound, so we lose one of them right off. And now he fires another missile, and this one also scatters, and now he fires his bolt guns. Once again, 2 hits, 2 wounds, 2 Gaunts go down. The last Gaunts, now these ones are shooting through the wall there, and it scatters a little bit, but they do still get hit. The second one also scatters a little bit and gets hit, so he still gets 3 hits on them. 2 wounds. I get a cover save because they're on the other side of the wall. One of them survives. He fires a whole bunch of bolt guns, which finally finish them off, and that is the end of Black Templar's turn. Tyranids' turn 2 begins, and the Trigon Primes, one of them does come in, the other one fails to come in, which is kind of upsetting. I really wanted them both to come in, but that's okay. One is still better than none. He lands right there trying to scatter, but he reduces, or gets a direct hit rather, lands right in the middle of all those vehicles, and psychic check for Iron Arm on the Tyranids, who gets level 3, so he's strength and toughness 9 right now, just taunting those missile launchers. Because he, of course, is my HQ, and he's also a scoring unit because of his Warlord trait, which is great. The Gaunts move up, heading in a big swarm, all running up as fast as they can, trying to get into the combat there. These ones are moving through difficult terrain, which they get a 3rd dice, or yeah, the Tyranids he gets a 3rd dice because he's a monstrous creature. And so he moves up, and then the Hormagaunts on the side there, they're advancing as well, just all running up the side. I don't really have a plan here. Just going to run across the board and see if I can get there before the rockets kill all my guys. I got really nervous when he killed that last Tyranids, because now at this point, he could kill any of my Tyranids. He just needs to focus the fire on them. So I'd want to try and hug cover from now on. And so, as you can see, my Tyranids ran into cover there. The only one who doesn't really need it is the big one, the HQ Tyranids, because he's toughness 9. So, if anyone's going to survive, it's going to be him. Here I'm deciding where I want to move my Gaunts, because I'm debating where I want to move my Tyranids. And so, they kind of just shimmy up like that, and then they leave space in the middle for him. That looks like I went a little bit far there, but they run anyway, so they move up. Anyway, the other Tyranids on the side moves up along with its upgraded Hormagaunts. They come running up on the side, trying to get in as close as we can. And so, Tyranids, Hormagaunts, Gaunts, everyone's just running as fast as they can to get up there. And the Doom, he hobbles along behind, not doing anything, not being noticed, not being shot, as per what the Doom does. Well, not really, everyone's usually terrified, but he's so far away. Probably won't do anything. I regret not putting him in a Spore Pod, but well, that happens. Now we've started running because I don't think I'm going to be able to charge him, and I also want to get on this terrain so I can get more of a cover save. So the Gaunts run into the terrain just to kind of pile up, because I've been doing really good with cover saves recently, or at least in this game I am. And so everyone runs up. The Tyranids, he runs in, just getting himself onto the cover as well. And the Hormagaunts, they come running up as well, just piling around the back of the cover. And they actually get to re-roll because they have that Fleet of Claw. And so they didn't get any further, they only get 4 inches, but at least then they can... Jeez, everybody's all over the place. But at least then they can move up and tuck in behind the Tyranids and tuck in behind that wall. A few of them, they'll just explode, but at least the ones behind the wall will be okay. These guys, the twins, run up and hide in that same piece of terrain. Just getting the cover saves, like I said, wanting to protect myself from his rockets and his bolt guns and everything else, because having a save beats not having a save pretty much any day of the week. So these Gaunts, I turn them around because it doesn't really matter. We're able to keep track now that the 2 guys who are in the front are from a different unit. So they just turn around and advance up behind the wall as well, trying to get, like I said, every cover save I can get. And then in the middle here, the other Tyranids, he runs, moving up, still staying in the cover because he's still staying in the area terrain. And the Doom moves up, once again, creeping along behind, not doing anything but wandering around. These guys run, I try and re-roll again for big numbers, and they do get another 6, so they run up to the top of that little hilltop there, because we agreed that it's just difficult terrain moving up and down. And so they move in. Gaunts running up behind the wall, because next turn they can pretty much jump up the wall and then run and charge down and hit all of his land speeders and his tanks, and we'll be in good shape at that point. But there is also the Trigon, who's sitting right there on the other side of that hill, just waiting for his chance. Tyranids here, he ran, moved up a little bit. It looks like we missed the dice roll, but he moves up like 6. I ran another 6 on there. It was crazy. And these guys only run like 2 inches. So they just kind of shimmied up a little bit, moving behind the Hormagaunts that are faster and in front of them. And I got him out of the terrain because I don't want to be in there for the next round. The Trigon now, he shoots his crazy amount of shots into the side of the rear of that tank. Tons of shots, and easy to glance and pen, and he ends up glancing it to death right then and there. And we wanted to see if it blows up, and it does not. Which, there we go. And so here we are at the end of turn 2. Gaunts are getting closer, but they are losing tons of numbers to rockets. But the Trigon is now there, so he's got to deal with that. Stay tuned for part 3 and see how this bat rep goes.